Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This one is yet another news-related video. I talked about how I was gonna kinda slow down on news-related videos, just because I have so many. In my channel, I do multiple different stuff on my channel. But, this is actually one thing I wanted to actually talk about. And that is apparently that they're finally gonna be getting rid of Pennies. Yeah, they're finally gonna discontinue Pennies. It took them about like a decade or two, and now they're suddenly gonna finally get rid of Pennies. They've been saying they were gonna do that for a long time. They have been saying they were gonna do that. And all that, but nothing has happened and all that until now. So I'm gonna be talking about my thoughts on this. If you guys haven't already, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Also, you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. There, there you guys can keep up with my, latest news. And also, I have a divinity art thing, too. So, in case some people might not be into this stuff. I'm kind of not really into the stuff either, but, I do art for, I do art for people and all that, on divinity art and all that. So, yeah, I'm kind of not really, I'm not really into it too much, but I'm doing it for other people, so you guys can probably go over there. And if you guys have any, requests, I'll try to draw them for you. But it will be for the older audiences, so expect, it could be, nude art of, male and female characters. It could be, overweight and all that, tall, short people. I don't know, people can kind of choose it, yeah, but that's kind of what that is. But that's all I have to really say there and all that, so, now let's go ahead and actually get into this. Also, I guess before I do, I also want to clarify I'm not feeling the best. I have a scratchy throat and all that. I don't know if I have a cold or something. Because the freaking rain out here, I swear to God, the rain out here, it's it literally will not make up its mind what it wants to do. It goes off and on and all that. Throughout the entire day. It's been doing that for the last week. I don't mind if it rains, but I'm it needs to either rain or it doesn't. It doesn't need to be going back and forth like this, And especially throughout the entire day, having it rain, one day and the next, that's fine. But when it does it like this, off and on, then, it kind of messes with my sinuses and all that. But I can also have a cold, too, so. Because I made me some soup and all that, too, so I'm going to eat that here in a little bit, but yeah, if I sound kind of funny, that's probably why. But anywho, let's go ahead and actually talk about this. So like I said, they're actually going to discontinue Pennies, and they've been talking about doing that for over a decade. Over a decade, they've been talking about doing that. But it's taking a long time for them to do that, but they've been discussing they were going to discontinue them when Obama was president and all that, and and then they were kind of, Obama was actually going to discontinue more than just the pennies. He was actually talking about apparently discontinuing the other coins too, nickels and dimes and all that, and he was going to do all of that. Well, he said he was going to, but, hold on. he said he was gonna do that, but you know, he never did. So I don't know, like. But you know, then we have, you know, President Trump. When President Trump, you know, was president the first time around, you know, he was actually going to, like, there was talk he was gonna do it. I think even in 2020 they were talking about discontinuing it, but he didn't get elected for a second term. So when President Biden became the president of the United States, that kind of changed. But now that Trump's, you know, in office again, he's actually now announced that they're going to discontinue pennies. And I don't know, I'm just like, okay, because the reason behind it, from what I heard, is it's costing, you know, too much money to make pennies. You know, it's costing, you know, them too much money to make pennies and all that from what they're worth. You know, they're not really worth what they cost and all that, and but because they're not really worth, you know, much, but they're costing, you know, people too much money to produce them. They're basically going to get rid of them. And I'm just like, I mean, I get it. I get that they're kind of costing people a bunch of money, but I'm like, you're going to get rid of the pennies. So, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to, like, are you going to raise the prices up, you know, to, like, is everything going to go up to, like, $5 or higher? Or not $5, it'd be 5 cents or higher, you know? I guess to be fair, there is the whole, there is, like, the credit cards people use and all that, you know, there's the credit card, you know, stuff, so, you know, so, I don't know. I don't know what to, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen here, but I'm just like, I feel like, you know, I mean, I get they want to save money, but, like, people also, you know, still use change at times. I still use change. I barely use my card. I'll use it sometimes, but I don't use it a lot. And that's because as time goes on, this crap is getting worse and worse. Like, it is getting worse. And especially now, in today's economy, people are able to, like, you know, people are able to, like, hack your stuff a lot easier. You got a bunch of fake accounts. Yeah, I actually didn't bring this up, but, like, I haven't brought this up yet, but I was going to, like, Facebook, and, now this is a little bit off topic, but I figured I'll bring this up anyway, because this kind of goes into what I'm kind of talking about here, like, so these people made some, you know, fan-made, you know, a movie trailer, or movie posters, and I thought some of them were really good, so I go to click on it, because I was going to try to download the photos, and it sends me, and then it kind of threatens me with a virus and all that, and that kind of just goes to the whole point of, like, how easy it is for people to freaking scam you and all that. Now, that's the problem with freaking credit cards. That's why I'm like, I think cash is honestly a lot better to have than, you know, credit cards, just because of this, you know. Yeah, that's because of, you know, all this and whatnot, but I'm just like, I think this whole thing, you know, of then, like, discontinuing pennies, I get the concepts behind it, guys. It is costing people too much money, and that's kind of what we're dealing with, you know, like, I mean, we get a lot of our crap overseas, so we pay these countries to ship stuff over here, and we're spending a bunch of money in America we don't really have, you know, so I think Trump is trying to, like, you know, cut costs, you know. I mean, say what you want about Donald Trump. I mean, people are kind of, like, hit or miss with the guy, but you know, when he says he's gonna do something, a lot of times he'll do it, and that's kind of what looks like what's happening here. Now, this could change. I mean, they could, like, you know, discontinue pennies and all that, and, like, and it could come back, or it could be announced right now, but they might continue it. I don't know. You know, but that's kind of the thing, though. That's kind of the, you know, the thing, though, with the pennies, though. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like, they could probably also, like, they could probably also, like, I mean, make them not copper, make them like silver. Because pennies are actually the only coins that are not like, that I'm aware of, that are actually not like, that are actually, you know, not like, well, the thing is though, is pennies are not full copper, like, quarters are not full silver, but they have silver in them. So they have that silver, you know, looking color, that gray color. Pennies have, you know, that, you know, goldish, brownish color, you know. You know, but I don't know, I'm just like, I don't know, I just think them discontinuing the pennies does not make a lot of sense to me, you know. I feel like they should just keep them, you know, going and all that, or like, I feel like they could do something else. I don't know, I'm just like, I don't know, I'm like, you know, that's the thing, like I said, I get they want to cut costs, but like, I don't know, I feel like discontinue them entirely. I'm like, I don't know, I feel like they should like, I don't know, I feel like this, you know, I don't know, they could probably find other ways to do it. I don't know, because people do use pennies to, like, you know, use change and all that, you know. But, I don't know on that one. Now, I do see some people throwing, you know, pennies on the ground and all that, too. Like, I find pennies all the time on the ground. You know, well, I don't see, you know, people actually, you know, physically throwing them on the ground, but I've seen them, you know, they throw, I mean, I see them on the ground all the time. You know, like, I go to Fulton, I'll see pennies, you know, on the ground all the time. I always pick them up, because I'm like, even though it's 1 cent, 1 cent, you know, still adds to something, especially when you see a lot. That said, though, there are a lot of times, I said, people use pennies as well to, like, they use pennies as well to, like, you know, do change and all that. But with people, you know, going more and more to the credit cards and debit cards and all that, people are not really using change as much either. But I still see people using change sometimes too. But like I said too, I don't really like using my debit card. I don't like using it much because in today's world, I say it's going to be easier for people to hack hack your stuff and all that, like, especially when we got freaking AI and all that, like, taking over things, you know. I'm like we're kind of living in a scary time right now. We are, like, with this technology and all that, but I don't know. I will say, though, they're actually not going to be, like, I will say, like, the $2 bills, the pennies will still be used. They'll still use them in stores, so you can still, like, take them to stores, not for change. So at least they're not completely removing pennies altogether. Actually, you can take, like, you can use $2 bills, you can use half-dollar coins. You can use all the stuff. You can use all that, like, at stores. Sorry, man. Like I said, I have a cold. Or something going around, but I don't know, but I don't know. I'm just like I said, I don't think it's like something super serious to worry about, because like I said, you can still use them at the stores, but like them discontinuing them, I don't know. I feel like, you know, there should be another way, you know, or they could, like I said, they could cut the coins and have you do them every other, they could cut the coins out and have you, you know, like instead of making them every single year, they can maybe split them up, you know. I think some countries I hear do that. They don't make a new penny every single year. They'll actually change them out, like, only every couple years, you know, so that they're not making them every year. I don't know. I'm just like, you know, I don't know. This whole thing seems kind of silly to me, but, like, at the same time, if they're still allowing you to use them at the stores and all that, that's not so bad either. But they're going to be using them this year, and basically until when they run out of them, you know, they won't be using them anymore. So by 2026, they'll probably be not using them anymore. So I don't know if you'll find any 2026 pennies. I can't even find 2025 pennies. And technically they were still making them this year because this was announced a few weeks ago. So they're still making pennies. They were still making them. So there should be some 2025 ones as well. I just haven't, found them, I just haven't found them, but yeah, I don't know, but I'm just like, I'm like not sure what to think about this exactly, but yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of just like, I'm like, we should just I'm just gonna play it out and see how this goes, I guess, that's all we can do is all play out, this whole thing and see how it goes. Well, I think of Pennies too. Have you guys ever seen this? There's this episode from season 6 of SpongeBob called Penny Foolish. Have you guys seen that episode? Mr. Krabs spends the entire episode looking for these, trying to get a penny off of SpongeBob. I swear Mr. Krabs would be freaking so screwed, If he were a real, person, he'd be so screwed. Because that guy will always, try to get, this or that, when it comes to money, that's all I can think about when it comes to pennies is that, that episode. I know a lot of people don't like it. I personally never found it that bad of an episode, but I know people are not the biggest fan of it, but that's just, that's just, me. I guess I just like the episode more than other people, but yeah, I know it's kind of funny talking about a SpongeBob episode when I'm, talking about pennies, but it's true though. It's true. Mr. Krabs is a real person in real life. Yeah, like I said, he would not be happy with this news, but I don't know. Jokes aside, though, like I said, we'll have to see how this all goes, I don't know if there's anything else I really need to mention, so I probably will go ahead and let things go from here. Because like I said, I'm not feeling the best. But I really wanted to make this video for you guys, because I'm going to be kind of busy this week. So I don't know when I'll get around to doing this. Because I'm going to be going to watch my mom's animals while her and the siblings go to Kansas City. I'm not going up there with them though because I said last time I went up there with them it was an absolute nightmare. So I don't want to put up with that stuff this time around, I'm like, I'll just stick around and watch the animals while they're gone. She talked about paying me $30, so that should be good. And she still kind of owes me, some money for the last time I went up there because I didn't get anything at Comic-Con, so she still kind of owes me some money there, but I haven't really, seen, well, she hasn't really paid me back from that yet, from the last time I went up there. Speaking of Comic-Con, there actually is there is a Nintendo thing I want to talk about here. I'll wait to talk about it until, I'll wait to talk about that until later, because like I said, I'm going to probably rest for a little bit, but yeah, there's some unfortunate news there too, but yeah, I'm going to probably wait on that, but anywho, though, I'm going to go ahead and let things go from here, though. I'll see you guys all later. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Oh, yeah, there was actually one more thing I wanted to talk about. I actually I'm thinking about a thumbnail for this video. I'm kind of figuring out what I want to do for a thumbnail. There's a couple of options I want to do. I don't know what I'll do, I'll have to figure it out, but there is a couple, like I said, there's a couple, versions of a thumbnail I want to do, so I guess I'll figure out what I'll do there, but that's all I kind of wanted to mention there, but like I said, I'm going to go ahead and let things go from here, because I'm also kind of tired, and I need to eat my food. Anywho, bye.